Welcome back to Comic Confidential, the weekly podcast where we bring you the world's hottest comic book movie news. I'm your host, Cade, and alongside me today in the studio is Troy.
What up, my champs?
Hey, I like that one.
Oh, yeah.
You thought about that this week,
No,
didn't
I
you?
didn't. I genuinely didn't.
You even had like a little gang sign going with it?
No, because I spent most of the week coming up with some.
Have you been sketching them out?
Yeah. I've been like, storyboarding and all
Rain
that sort of
Man-ing
stuff. Yeah, just like, a beautiful mind, kind of like a Goodwill Hunting kind of thing on the blackboard. And then I totally forgot. I didn't write any down. And it got to just then, and I threw it out there. And it's like, hey, that's not bad.
I felt like that one stuck, and it stuck hard.
It did. And it was more at everyone, the listeners, not just you. It's like, what up, my champs? Because they're my champs. They're my people.
Yeah, I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think I made a very ambitious claim. I went off script with the intro there, Troy, and I said the world's hottest news.
The world's hottest news.
Yeah.
Now, I think we can kind of get away with that a little bit based on geographical location, because where we are is kind of like it's hotter than everywhere else in the country, pretty much. I
think that's fair. We are saying the world's hottest news comes from Cairns.
Yeah, and we're just talking like literal temperature hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like our news is more spicy than anyone else's.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
It might
right.
be more sexy, but it's definitely not more spicy.
It's definitely sexy, probably not as much spice, still pretty hot temperature-wise. But it's, it's the news you want. It's the news you deserve.
Is that the new tagline?
The
news you want.
The news you deserve.
Yeah.
Look, we can workshop that for sure.
I like that. That works really well. That speaks to me.
Does it?
Yeah, it really does.
That's great. What's been going on, my friend?
Troy, are we talking about Internet Watch?
Yeah, okay. Let's do it. Wait, just give me one sec. Internet Watch.
Dun, 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 dun. Still no internet.
Oh, okay.
I'm still
That's
rocking.
disappointing.
I'm still rocking mobile data.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only way I'm communicating with the outside world. That and smoke signals.
Yeah, okay.
It's the only way I'm kind of getting my voice out there.
You should get some pigeons like Mike Tyson used to have on his roof.
Yeah, that would be good.
And you just train them to send messages, and then most of the time they come back, and you can give them another message or something. Like I could put a message on it and just throw it out the window, and I think the idea is that it goes back to your house.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How does the pigeon know to return?
Because of their homing
beacons.
Yeah. Beaks.
Yeah, beaks.
Their homing beaks
are on.
Yeah. I don't know the exact science behind it, but I'm pretty sure they have inbuilt homing beacons, and that's why they know. It's like dogs. Dogs are similar. Like you can, like a dog can get lost out, say in the bush, wherever dogs get lost, and they can find their way home, like over like hundreds of miles.
I think that might have to do with their scent.
No, it's not that good.
I think it's pretty good.
No, I think it's just, they know like where they get fed. They're just like, they know where it comes from, and they're just like, they need to get back to that sweet dish, the sweet metal dish with the food magically comes into.
Do you own a dog?
I don't.
I do. And I can open up a chip packet or anything from the other side of the house.
Yeah.
And my dog knows instantly when I've done that.
Really?
It's amazing.
I know when you've done it. Like I can hear it. That's mostly because you've got fat fingers, and mate, you opening a packet of chips is like, I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
It's a bit of a rustle.
So Internet Watch, that's done.
Internet Watch. It's apparently next week, Troy.
Okay.
Next week.
All right.
I had to send an angry letter.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. They sent me a...
Because you can't send an email.
Yeah.
Yeah. So had to send a genuine letter.
A genuine letter.
Yeah.
No, they sent me an email survey and says, how's your experience?
Oh, come on.
Yeah. I was like, fuck, that's irony.
Yeah.
And 000, you are fucking my life up.
Because, a lot of people might not know, maybe new people that are like just joining the show and stuff like that. How are you, everybody, by the way? That haven't spent time with you before might not know that you rely on that for your livelihood.
Yeah,
the internet.
I do,
and it's not just for memes and, other things that are on the internet that unmentionables.
I haven't been cooking up any spicy memes lately because I have no ingredients, Troy. My ingredients is the internet.
Yeah. Oh, well, look, hopefully they get onto it and you get it back next week. I'll check back in with you for the final, hopefully, edition of Internet Watch.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Now, Troy, let's talk about a couple of things that we've got coming up because we're going to be busy little boys soon.
We sure are. Now, so how this works sometimes is one of us will jump ahead and we'll go and kind of like pre-populate the upcoming entries for the show and what we're going to do in the weeks to come. And sometimes we get it perfectly right. Sometimes people like myself butcher it completely and, you know, get us like 2 weeks ahead of ourselves. So I thought we were going into the final sort of road to Infinity War next week. And then we're going to review Infinity War the week after, but that's actually not the case. So what are we doing next week instead?
Man, we're going to go and review Rampage.
Yeah, so this is actually getting some half-decent reviews from what I see.
I've heard about this. I heard this might be the movie that breaks the video game curse.
Yeah, but I've also heard that the kind of the only real rampaging kind of happens in the final act. So can you really call it a video game movie if it doesn't follow the whole thing throughout the whole movie?
Well, isn't Rampage basically an 8-bit game?
Yeah.
What really gets told in an 8-bit game? Because they're all kind of side-scrollers.
Giant monkey destroys the city.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it. So that's what your movie is. It's 93 minutes of a giant monkey destroying the city and The Rock kind of going, what am I to do about it?
Get out of my city, monkey.
Yeah. And fighting him and becoming Giant Rock probably and then, punching on.
He has to become giant. How else is he going to defeat him?
Through love and support.
Okay, I believe that.
Yeah, he doesn't actually defeat them. He lifts them up instead. He supports them and embraces them.
That's deep.
That's a lovely story. But we'll get to that next week. So we are going to actually check that out. We always love ourselves a Rock movie for better or for worse, so we'll do that for sure. And then, very exciting news, episode 120, it's going to be goddamn live. And we are actually going to make it happen this week, this time, I should say.
Yes.
Because it's on Anzac Day.
And our schedules have all lined up.
They have. The moons and the stars have aligned. Everything that could possibly align has aligned. So we're going to get a live show happening in the local area. We'll give you information about that closer to the date. So if you are in Cairns or surrounding areas, you can come and check us out. But we're going to be at the Event Cinemas in Smithfield on opening night for Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah, we are. And potentially we might be doing what would you call this? Instant reaction.
Post-show instant reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another live episode. 2 for 1, baby.
Which is usually what my reviews are anyway. They're kind of like I've seen the movie and then it's like I come in here and I talk about it and they're my first thoughts, and that's why everything's usually positive. Because I'm coming in here, I'm on a high, and I'm like, yeah, I loved it, and then I think about it over time and I come back. So this is going to be a genuine, right after the fact, we're going to talk about it.
Minutes after.
So it's probably just going to be 20 minutes of me going, oh my God.
I'm going to trigger you. I'm going to walk in there and I'm going to fight you on everything. I'm going to say, nah, that was poo. I didn't like it.
Well, okay. Bring it.
I'll see how you go.
Bring it on. We'll see who wins that super heavyweight battle. And then, of course, we're going to review Infinity War for realsies the week after that.
Oh.
Well, we're going to give people time to go and see it.
Yeah, I do like that. Like that. Now, look, Troy, there's no brag board this week. We're going to give it a break. We want to let people have a chance to go back on there and give us a refresher.
We're doing a brand new brag board, you guys. So if you do have something that you're proud of, even if you're not really that proud of it, but you just want to talk about it, in the creative sort of field, anything that you want, podcasts, dance routines, whatever it is that you want, throw it on there. It's going to be the pin post in the Facebook listener community. If you're not on there yet, jump in there and join that so you can brag about your stuff so we can brag about it for you on the show.
That's amazing. That was really well done.
Thank you. All right, man. First story off the rank, like cab. It's like a cab off the rank, except it's a story.
Have I been waiting here all night long?
Yeah, pretty much.
With my stinky kebab breath?
Yeah, you've got your stinky kebab breath. You've still got half your kebab.
Yeah.
Probably.
And I'm slopping it all
You're
over
slopping
the place.
it in the taxi and you're going to get a fine later. Anyway, first story that I want to talk about is Lucasfilm have finally dropped the first official trailer for Solo, a Star Wars story. And hoo boy, damn. I personally thought it was fantastic. What did you think?
Man, this might be the most excited I've been for a Star Wars movie ever.
Really?
Yeah, really. Like,
So why is that?
I don't know. Something about this just seems gritty and dark that I've never seen in Star Wars before.
Rogue One?
Yeah, but Rogue One doesn't really speak to me because I kind of know what happens.
Yeah, okay.
And like that one there, you're just kind of waiting for that eventual end.
Yeah.
This, I don't know nothing about Han.
I don't know nothing.
I don't know nothing.
Yeah, well, that's true. So it's one of those things, unless you've kind of, you read the books or the comics or, something like that, you're not getting all these little fill-in stories to kind of understand how it works, which I haven't done. 100% of my fandom comes from the movies themselves. So I don't know any of the backstory really either. But I'm keen as, man. I am so keen. And like, this is one of those things where people have been kind of, a bit unsure about this movie for the longest time now because of everything that happened, as we've spoken about. All the reshoots, and like we're talking
directors,
like 75% reshoots or more, or something like that, and
potential firing of the main man.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. Having to bring on an acting coach for Alden Ehrenreich and Ron Howard coming in, all that crap. This makes me kind of think that everything is all right. It's well and truly on track.
Yeah. The only thing that I'm kind of worried about is we're kind of get like maybe a kind of a Justice League, but like I'm going to get this really cool trailer out and then the movie's not going to live up to those expectations.
Yeah, I don't know if any of the Justice League trailers were kind of that good though, you know what I mean? Like they weren't ever to the point of like you were like, holy shit, that's going to be the best thing I've ever seen in my life. It was kind of like, oh, that looks pretty cool.
Maybe. But maybe I'm hyping that up too much.
Yeah, I think so. Because I remember when we first saw the first main Justice League trailer, and one of my concerns was that it still looked dark and it still looked like, too much red and explosions and fire and whatnot.
Not enough, I say.
Yeah, well, this has got next to none.
Yeah.
So how's that? But what I do like about this, and it is one of those things where, yes, it is very rare when a director comes in after, like some directors have been fired, that they actually bring us some good product. It did happen on Rogue One, though. Same thing happened. Director got the can, the new guy came in, did the rest. We saw there was a whole bunch of stuff that was in the trailers that we didn't even see in the end.
Absolutely.
And the movie still turned out really, really good. I'm still a big fan of Rogue One. So I've got really high hopes for this now. And I've got to say, I'm really, really warming up to Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo as well.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't look anything like him, but I don't care.
Yeah, see,
I don't care.
See, that's the thing, and that's the thing that I've been hearing kind of the most, I guess.
Yep.
Is that he doesn't look or sound enough like Harrison Ford. And I guess there's a couple of things. There's a couple of ways you can look at this, right? One is that he has worked closely with Lawrence Kasdan, who knows the Han Solo character better than anyone else.
Yep.
He has had Harrison Ford kind of mentoring him on set at times in order to get this character right. Lucasfilm probably wouldn't put out something that they weren't happy with.
Well, Disney wouldn't.
Well, Disney probably wouldn't either. And then, well, Disney's put some shit out. And so has Lucasfilm. They put the prequels out, but we won't talk about that. But I guess the biggest thing is what we need to kind of realize is we're never going to get an exact replica of a young Harrison Ford playing Han Solo. And if we did, that'd kind of be boring.
Absolutely. Like, I saw a meme on the internet just today, actually, and it was pretty much about the extreme Star Wars fandom that's out there. We know they're out there. They're kind of next level.
Yep.
And it was basically a picture of old-ass Harrison Ford.
Yep.
Photoshopped into, like, one of the new scenes.
Yeah.
And it says, Star Wars fans won't be happy unless they get the original Han Solo,
playing
Harrison
young.
Ford,
Yeah.
in that movie, and just by sheer will pretending that he's young. And I was like, that is so fucking right.
Well, it pretty much is right. What's even more right is Harrison Ford could possibly pull that off.
I think he could.
He is pushing. He's mid-70s now.
He's getting on.
He's pushing.
He's crashing his planes left, right, and center.
He
now.
is. So I don't think we're going to get that. So the fandom is going to have to just take a back seat. But it is one of those things where you kind of have to let go of the past, and you have to understand, like, this is just another.
Did you just make an accidental Star Wars reference?
No, that was completely deliberate, my friend. Sometimes you have to let the past die.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's getting on, Troy.
Kill
you
it.
should not say that.
Kill it if you have to. But look, and let's hear some new stories. Let's see some new distinct takes on these characters. I don't mind.
Definitely.
I don't mind.
I 100% agree. What I'm liking about this trailer, Troy, is that this looks like the least Star Warsy movie.
Yeah, you could say that.
In the Star Wars canon.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, we're not really going to get the whole light side, dark side sort of thing. There's not going to be any Jedi. There's not going to be any Sith Lords, probably. Or too many of them if they are there. You
know what it actually feels like? This feels like more of a Bond movie than it does a Star Wars movie. We've got battles on the top of trains, Troy.
Yeah, I could see that.
It looks like we're going to have like our main, I guess, leader hero. I reckon he's going to turn on us. Woody Harrelson.
Oh, you think it's Woody?
Yeah, I reckon Woody's going to turn.
See, because there's bets out there. Like, people are placing bets as to who, because Woody Harrelson's character does make, he does say, basically just assume everyone's going to do yin.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, all right, so you think Woody.
Yeah, I think he's too big of a character to not do it.
Now, we know Lando and Han, obviously, Lando does him a bit dirty, but it's not enough that they don't make up, when they get to Cloud City and all that sort of stuff. So that's fine. Basically, it comes down to, realistically, Chewie, and we know it's not Chewie.
Well, what if this is a different Chewie? Because we did see 2 Chewies in this trailer.
That's true. That's true. That could be. Everyone's thinking like that's a little romantic subplot for Chewie.
Yeah.
But imagine this for a second. That's Chewie's son, who's the real Chewie, because that guy's like Chewie Senior. He dies in that last thing we see, like where he hits that cliff, because you're thinking like as if Chewie's going to die and hit that. Why are you even showing that to us? That's not going to happen. So that actually does happen.
And like Chewie's back in, head's gone.
Yeah, he's dead. And then his son takes his place, who is the real Chewie.
Okay, I like your story, but I just want to tweak it.
Okay.
It's a twin brother.
Ooh.
And he has a scar across his eye.
Yeah.
But his hair covers it. Because everyone knows that evil twins got every bad guy's got to have a scar across their eye.
Yeah. That's fair. And if anyone's got their hair to cover it, it's Chewie. It's evil Chewie, for sure. So we get to see more of Amelia Clarke's character a little bit more. You can see that her and Han Solo seem to have a pre-existing relationship. So we'll get to learn about that a little bit more. We've got Donald Glover pulling an absolutely amazing Lando Calrissian.
How swaggerlicious is he?
That's a terribly white word, but he is.
I'm just saying it, man.
He is very. I'm trying to bring it back. Trying to bring Swaggerlicious back. But he does look great. And I think that's one of the best casting choices I've seen so far.
Yeah.
I think it's well done. And we get another sassy British droid in L3, so that's happening. We had C-3PO, BB-8. You could probably assume is British, but you can't really tell.
I feel like they're very London-y beeps.
Yeah. And then you had K2SO from Rogue One, who was super sassy.
So sassy.
And then we got L3 something. I can't remember what the rest of the letters are, but it's L3, and it's sassy, and it's British.
Arrow fans rejoice this week, Troy.
Why?
Because it might have its savior back on the show.
Who?
Colton Haynes is back for season 7 of Arrow.
Really?
Yeah. So this guy, he made a cameo appearance for 2 episodes this season.
Yeah.
And I guess the fandom just went crazy for him, because Arsenal is a pretty great character in the terms of Arrow.
Yeah.
Compared to, I guess, all these new characters that they've kind of got.
Yeah.
So I'm happy he's back, man.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you think this is something that, like, are they scrambling?
I think they are scrambling. I think they're trying to go back to basics, going back to what worked for them back in, maybe season 2?
3, something like that, yeah.
And Colton Haynes was part of that.
Because I did read somewhere that I think it was the producer or one of the producers or the writers or something, said that they fully understand that this season's story has been shitty. And they know that they need to course correct coming into season 7. Right. So they've fully admitted that, they kind of lost the plot. And what they've delivered is not what they wanted.
Yeah, right.
So maybe this is a move to kind of like, well, let's appease the fans by getting Arsenal back in the show. And he was a pretty charismatic kid, like Colton Haynes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when he came back on, he was looking a little bit chunkier than he probably should have been.
Yeah, I did see an Instagram post from him the other day where he's like, kind of like, damn it, now I've got to like start working out again and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So good on him though for getting the gig again, and good on him for doing the right thing and getting out there and getting in shape, and
because he looked about 20 years older than when he left.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the guy looked like, you know what? He just didn't look good when he came back. He didn't look Arsenal good.
Okay.
From what he used to be. So that's all I'm saying. I'm saying, the guy still looks terrific. He just wasn't looking as good as he used to.
Was he still doing flips and shit?
No, he wasn't.
No flips?
No, he wasn't doing anything.
More flops?
Yeah, he was more like flabbing.
So Colton Haynes has basically pulled a Steven Seagal and gotten too fat to kind of, pull out any super sweet moves, and basically just has to resign to being like, I'm a sniper in this movie, so I basically get to lie down for the whole thing.
I think that's a pretty spot-on description of what these last 2 episodes were.
Look, nothing against Colton Haynes.
Nothing
and this
against
is
him
not
at all.
body shaming at all. We are two much plus-sized gentlemen, so we kind of have the right to say these things. But yeah, well, look, I think that's good, and I did hear that Thea is done now, officially.
Gone. Out of the show. She's written off, so everyone's happy about that. Makes room for him.
Well, they didn't really do too much with her for most of the last season and this season, for what I saw of this season.
Yeah, well, especially with Merlin kind of making his exit out of the show,
Yeah.
who was kind of like the lead runner for Thea's character.
For her story, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, well, he made his sacrifice, offed himself,
Yeah.
in honor of saving her.
Yeah.
Spoilers, but who cares?
Yeah.
So yeah, with him gone, it's a bit of a shame.
So it's almost like they didn't know what to do with her once that was done. That kind of story.
Yeah,
was
exactly.
done.
They kind of made her like a desk clerk for the mayor's office. And
Yeah. She was like really pushed to the side.
absolutely.
Like she was pushed to the background more than young Wally West gets pushed to the background in The Flash. But that's good. So that's great. That's happening. So season 7. Let me ask you a question before we move on to the next part, because we got a little bit of DC TV
yeah, we got
news,
something coming.
Are you going to continue with Arrow into season 7? Are you happy to continue? Are you going to give it another year?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm pretty invested in the season, as terrible as it is.
Yeah.
Because you kind of nailed it on the head earlier. Like, the writers obviously have no idea what they're doing this season, and it's just they're scrambling like, hey, this might be good, and none of it is making sense. I'm hoping season 7 really steers it onto the right course, and it ends there.
Okay. Is it still, Team A versus Team B?
Yeah.
And
But it's also Team A's versus Team A now.
Oh, so there's infighting.
Yeah.
There's infighting in the infighting.
Yes.
It's like infightception.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, wow.
We've got to go deeper. We've got to fight more.
All right, well, let's move on to the next story. Now, this is about Teen Titans set photos that have been released, and these aren't legit set photos, right? So these have just been snapped by some little happy snapper with with his camera phone or something. Well, he probably had a proper camera. It's probably a paparazzi type,
Yeah, I
or
think
something
so.
like that, I'd assume. But anyway, so it's basically what we've seen is Beast Boy, Raven, and Starfire, and it's kind of gotten the internet. This is this week's edition of what made the internet shit its pants.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was this.
It was.
Yeah, because a lot of people are kind of jumping up and down and they're going, hey, that looks shit. What happened to the Robin and the Hawk and Dove costumes that we got earlier? Why are we looking at just a completely normal Beast Boy with some green frosted tips? And Raven admittedly didn't look that bad from what we saw. And then Starfire copped some, and the actress herself copped some pretty unfair and pretty kind of heavy criticism on the internet. And I don't want to go into it because I do not want to give those people any of my time. But it is, I can understand, I guess, in a sense where it's coming from, because everybody had this expectation that, this is what we're going to see. We're going to see these amazing, costumes, same as Robin, Hawk, and Dove, like I said. And Starfire, it's a fan favorite character, and she's got the bright orange hair, the skin. She's the alien type. She's kind of like really, she uses like her sex to kind of, like her sexiness to kind of, get her way in a sense. and also, incredibly powerful and all that sort of stuff. And people were very disappointed with what they saw.
Yeah, look, I'm going to be honest. I don't mind Beast Boy because I feel like that's a very, I guess, real life adaptation. Because to have him running around with like bright green hair and bright green skin is just going to be, I guess, a logistical nightmare for anyone involved in the show.
Yeah.
I think Raven looks great for a real life example as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess all the fire is, and no pun intended, is really around Starfire, who looks completely out of left field for what she's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I kind of have a theory about this.
Okay.
I feel like this is Starfire before she comes Starfire.
Yeah.
I feel like this might be maybe a flashback scene or something like that, because, man, this is like Inhumans level of like wrongness.
Yeah.
In the sense of where this character needs to be, like thinking Medusa and what we actually got in Inhumans.
Yeah,
This is the comparisons that are being made online. And look, I'll agree with them that it's so off base that it's not funny, but I mean, we don't know the full story.
We don't know the context.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so initially I was very much like, oh my God, what is happening here?
Yes.
But then I kind of sat back and I thought about it, and it's exactly that. I mean, set photos and like early release, like behind the scenes stuff, it's always going to get picked on and, picked apart and all that sort of stuff. But you're exactly right. Like we don't know the context, we don't understand. And the actress Anna Diop, I think her name is, the actress who plays Starfire, came out and she kind of said, "Hey, look, I understand that it's not what you guys wanted to see, and it's definitely not what we wanted to release. Like I was, we were all like hoping that to give you, kind of like a really sort of special first glimpse at Starfire and, and the rest of the characters and all that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, what you got was me, in a scene with no context, in the blistering cold, kind of, looking the way she did. And it's, it is unfortunate that, we see these things, more unfortunate that we're so quick to react and condemn when what we have seen already with, again, the same 3 costumes that have been released as proper, like actual, like official photos
are amazing.
So why would the difference be so bad? Or are people trying to assume that the only reason they released those was to try to like build the hype or something?
Maybe. Like I'm really hyped for Teen Titans, and even in our own listener community, we saw like a huge swing in people's attitudes towards this show now, which like genuinely surprised me, because I mean, these are just behind the scenes photos. They literally don't mean anything at this point. Yeah.
I think we've got to give it time.
We've got to give it time. And I mean, watch the show before you like say, this is not for me.
For this week's show, we decided to do something for the DC fans for a change. We've been on about Marvel now for weeks.
And that check has run out.
It sure has. They haven't paid us for a while, but, it's all in the lead up to Infinity War. But it's time to put that aside and have a chat about their darker, more brooding, some might say sexier cousin.
I would.
Is it a cousin? Friend? Acquaintance?
I feel like the word sexy and cousin doesn't belong in the same sentence.
But it's not like, it's not like Marvel are going, oh, look at my sexy cousin DC. It's not weird. But if I was standing like on the outside and going, hey, Marvel's got a sexy cousin by the name of DC, that's fine.
I guess it's just perspective, isn't it?
It is.
From my point of view, Troy.
Anyway, so basically to do this, we decided to reach out to you guys, the beautiful listeners, to see what you want to discuss. And we've got a whole bunch of DC-related questions to get through. So let's get started with the first one. Now, there's going to be a little bit of a mix in here. It's going to be some, we're trying to keep it positive as we can. We want the DC talk to be, upbeat and whatnot. But
you say that like it's a natural, like, bad thing. DC.
Isn't it? Okay, so if we're talking about the film universe, then, a lot of the time the talk is negative.
That's a point of view, Troy. Like, that's someone's opinion.
This is an opinion piece. This is my opinion on DC.
Was this going to go on the comicbook.com then?
Yeah, pretty much.
There's no hard facts here. It's just what I think is going on.
It's just what I think. All right, so let's start with... okay. What are your thoughts on Mark Millar's comment? So, a comic book creator... Mark Millar's comments about DC characters not being cinematic enough in comparison to their Marvel counterparts. which is basically what he's saying is why the movies aren't as successful as the MCU.
Okay, can you give me a refresher? Because this is a story that came out maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
And can you just elaborate on what isn't cinematic enough?
So kind of what he's saying effectively is that the Marvel characters are a little bit more grounded and based in reality. Now, because of that, it makes it easier to put them on the screen and give them stories that people can relate to. Whereas when you're talking about, say with Superman, and you're talking about Wonder Woman and characters like this that are so kind of grandiose that, like Green Lantern is, I think, the example that he used. Like, that's actually kind of like pretty hard to do because it's kind of set in space and, it's about a guy who wears a ring and the ring can create stuff. And when you're trying to like get a movie that people relate to outside of the fandom, it's really hard.
Okay, that's an interesting topic now, isn't it? Because I'm gonna make like arguable points against it.
Okay.
This is the stance I'm going to take on it because I'm not going to say I agree or disagree. I'm just going to challenge the thought here.
Sure.
Now, okay, Green Lantern, I can see how that's kind of unbelievable.
Yep.
Let's compare him to a Tony Stank.
Yep.
Tony Stank, billionaire, builds his own machine.
Yep.
It's a suit he can wear, fires rockets, all that type of shit. That's kind of believable. You think, okay, yeah, that can be done.
Yeah.
Let's compare that to maybe Batman.
We are 10 years away from Elon Musk doing exactly the same thing.
Exactly. The guy selling bloody rocket launchers for $450.
Flamethrowers.
That guy is a Bond villain waiting to happen.
Definitely.
Just sidetrack. That would be a waste opportunity to not have him as a cameo bad villain.
He is the Simpsons Hank Scorpio.
Absolutely. Have you seen his mum?
No.
Google his mum right now, and she looks like a fucking Disney villain. I don't know what's going on with this family.
Really?
Oh my god, it's amazing.
Elon Musk mum.
101 Dalmatians coming right at you.
Oh my god, that's exactly Cruella de Vil.
There you go.
No offense to May Musk, but that is. I think she has purposely made herself look like Cruella de Vil.
She's like a real life cartoon character, and I applaud her for that. Well done, ma'am.
Good on you.
But to go back to the whole DC vs. Marvel thing, you compare Iron Man to, let's say, Batman. That's your logical choice, or maybe your Black Panther to Batman.
Panther to a Batman, probably.
Those two are very similar. It's just Batman's got the stigma of the plot's always going for him. Nothing can beat Batman. That's kind of makes him that.
No, that's the fans.
Well,
us as fans, and me, I'm guilty of it too. I'm as guilty as anyone. Batman is unbeatable given time to prep.
Yeah.
So
if he had 24 hours.
Don't at me. Don't at me, anyone.
But that's the problem. Like, that's what makes Batman kind of so unrelatable, is that he's just incredibly undefeatable against anything.
Yeah, but what about his story, though? Like, his story is kind of like... I mean, it's about as relatable as the story of a super rich kid whose parents who were also super rich and they died and they left him a whole bunch of money. And it's not like the Richie Rich story where he just, he grows up and I don't even know what happened. Yeah, whatever Richie Rich does when he grows up. But
became Donald Trump. Oh, triggered.
Oh, triggered. But it's one of those things like, it's kind of relatable. Like, all he wants to do is avenge the death of his parents by basically putting his boot on crime.
Okay. Let's think of the Hulk then.
Okay.
The Hulk's a fan favorite.
Is not movie-wise.
You don't think so?
Well, cinematically, it's done terribly.
Well, I think as a supporting character, he's very well.
Now, I'll give you now.
The guy ran into a gamma radiation blast and became a big green monster.
Yeah, that's completely grounded in reality.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay, let's think of Steve Rogers, a super...
That's completely normal. That's just telling you the story of steroids. But, if steroids were also on steroids.
Yeah, and you could survive being frozen for...
Yeah, but it's basically saying, steroids are good, and this is what can happen if you take them.
Just look at
That's
the Rock.
completely relatable.
Yeah, okay. No, you've completely got me there. Okay.
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Oh, no. I like it. It makes good conversation. Okay, let's think of a man who lives on a flat Earth, who walks a rainbow bridge to come to a round Earth. and controls thunder with a hammer.
Okay.
Now, I know this is Norse mythology.
At the very least, it's based on Norse mythology, so, it's something. I get what you're saying. Yeah. What's weirder is that he's Aussie.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of the weirdest part of the whole thing. Look, I would tend to agree in a sense, but I mean, I only agree in the sense that it might make them less accessible to people who aren't already fans of said comics and comic characters and things like that. So if you're trying to get somebody, if you're trying to get your girlfriend to a movie and you're like, okay, so this movie is about a guy who's like a shit hot pilot and,
finds an alien ring.
Yeah, an alien ring finds him.
Yeah.
He doesn't find it. It finds him, and then he goes into space and basically protects the Earth with his ring.
Yeah. Well, I can see it because it's kind of like the DC, I guess, heroes and villains are kind of like, they're a next level.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's really kind of like exaggerated kind of things. But, isn't that what cinema is about?
And that's what comic books are about.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if you are going into a comic book movie, wouldn't you expect, even as somebody who might not necessarily read comics, wouldn't you expect it to be big and a spectacle and just crazy characters with crazy powers coming at you?
And you want it to be that little bit ludicrous.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily need to be so grounded in reality. But I guess a lot of the things, and I guess, and we're not here to talk about Marvel, but Marvel Netflix has done fairly successfully is keep their characters grounded. And they've kept them kind of based in reality, and that really, really works for them. So it can have the opposite effect as well, because sometimes we really like these grounded, believable characters. And I guess if you're talking about the DC equivalent as far as TV goes, all we have currently is kind of like Arrow, and it's kind of...
bit meh.
Well, that's the writing, but the character is probably fine. If you remember the early seasons of Arrow, you're like, holy shit, this is so good. It's dark, it's gritty, it's realistic. And then it just got the story got ridiculous. But having those characters that are grounded in reality is, I don't know. It works as well. So it kind of it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so you want to... Yeah, are you happy that you've answered that?
I think so.
Okay. So let's move on to the next question. What DC comic should become the next animated movie? Now, not cinematic movie, but animated movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
I want a Booster Gold.
You are...
I'm on a Booster Gold high, and I want a Blue Beetle.
Okay.
I want that team up movie. We never got the live action movie that was supposed to then go into a TV series.
Yep.
Let's trickle it down into an animated series.
Yeah, why not?
TV show, movie, whatever. Make that happen.
Yeah, okay. I could get into that. The one that I want to see, which I think they're talking about doing, I'm not 100% sure if I just made this up in my own mind out of my own hopes and dreams, but the Superman Red Sun, the Elseworld story.
No, I did hear about this.
Yeah, that... If it's not becoming an animated movie, that should be the next animated movie.
If it's not, we're living the Mandela effect.
Oh, damn. What's the Mandela effect?
I've told you this.
For those who don't know, because it's not just you and me, pal.
Okay. So the Mandela effect is something that you believe has happened, and you think is common knowledge, and you think everyone else knows it, but it didn't happen.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
And why is it called Mandela?
Because the theory came about when someone thought Nelson Mandela died, and they were 100% positive. They was there's news reports, there's newspaper prints about it.
Yeah,
he's alive and well.
Okay. Well, yeah, basically that. But Superman Red Sun is what I would like to see. If we're talking about stuff that they're not talking about, I've been on about the Secret Six for the longest time. Give me a goddamn, an adult content riddled Secret Six animated movie.
Okay.
I'll take animated. It's never going to happen live action, so
Yeah.
I'll take an animated movie.
Nice.
Now, DC have some great characters who are people of color. Who are those who of those characters would you like to see DC give their own solo movie?
Oh boy, do I have an answer for this one, Troy.
Yeah.
And it's like a double whammy here.
Okay.
Martian Manhunter.
Oh.
Representing two races, green and black.
Okay. Is that something that you think could work as a solo movie?
I mean, Martian Manhunter is literally the strongest character probably going around in DC lore at the moment.
Well,
Hey, man,
but,
even Superman doesn't even want to fight the guy.
Well-known ones.
Well
sure.
known, yeah. And I feel like he's just such a unique character that it would be almost a crime not to do something with him.
Yeah, okay. So you don't think Justice League 2, if Justice League 2 ever gets off the ground, you're more happy you think it's a solo movie?
I would love a solo movie. And like I might be one of the few who actually want it, but I want to see the battle on Mars. I want to see him come to Earth. I want to see, like, I guess, him become human.
What if they set it on Mars and in the background you've got like Arnold Schwarzenegger's character from Total Recall,
eyes bulging out, screaming,
just running around.
That's what I want.
All right, so if someone can make that happen, that'd be pretty good. Here's something I want to throw out to you. I got a couple. I've got one that we have technically seen before.
Oh yeah,
yeah, but I would like to see again, and actually given some justice. Steel.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Steel has actually just come back into the comics too, so he's gaining a bit of popularity. I guess you could really call this the DC version of Iron Man now.
Yeah, okay, but like maybe that's okay. So maybe it would be a little bit too similar to an Iron Man, but effectively he's not a billionaire.
No,
he's just like really good with a hammer and shit. So maybe it's Thor. Maybe he's more like Thor. But the Steel movie came out, and I remember I was a kid when that thing came out, and Shaquille O'Neal was John Henry Irons, and
that's a lot of steel right there.
That's a lot of steel. That's like 7'10" worth of steel. That's too big to be on the screen being a normal human. Like, you can't be a relatable character.
And like your secret identity would be instantly revealed. It would be like, that's motherfucking Shaq.
That dude is Shaq.
Like, you ain't fooling nobody, Shaq.
That dude's Shaq tall. That's a Shaq. But like, as much as I liked that movie as a kid, I understand that like it was quite terrible. But I really like the idea of the character, and I'd really like to see I'd really like to see it come back to the big screen, but done, given the sort of the respect that it deserves, and not have Shaq in it as much as I love Shaq.
You know who I think would make a great Steel, and this is really going to piggyback off yours, is Mr. Terrific. I want to see him evolve to become Steel.
Okay. Like,
he's invented the T-spheres. Yeah, cool. How about you invent a T-suit, but make it an S on there?
Ooh, I like that. But I kind of like I like the original story a little bit more, where he's just, he's a guy, he sees some wrong stuff happen, and he's like, I'm going to build myself a goddamn suit, and I'm going to be a superhero.
Okay. I got one more.
Okay.
Firestorm.
He's
really getting popularity because of The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'd love to see an on-screen version of that, because the guy is really, really powerful.
Yep.
And he has a power set that is kind of unmatched by anyone else, by the sense that he can kind of turn atoms into anything he wants.
Yeah. Okay. As long as it's better than the one on Legends of Tomorrow. And I only say that because I was not a fan of
Jax,
Franz Drammer, if that's how you pronounce his name, of his acting.
Yeah, he just not a good actor.
Especially put as a counterpart to a seasoned actor like Victor Garber.
Oh my goodness!
It was quite blatant sometimes. So as long as you get yourself a good actor, and we're talking cinematic stuff here, so I think I agree. I think, can you imagine a Firestorm on the big screen?
Oh my god,
that would be pretty insane. I love it.
I'm kind of agreeing with Mark Bernard now. That's too insane.
I guess if I have one other, there's two technically, but they're kind of very similar in the sense of similar, I guess, in the sense of like animal related kind of powers and whatnot, sort of. So Vixen, I think, would be a pretty good like solo movie.
Yep.
Like if you wanted a Vixen, like set it in Detroit, make it gritty, keep it like, crime oriented or whatever.
I reckon Vixen would be a really good cameo appearance in a Wonder Woman movie.
You think so?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. But it's very much like, we're already getting Cheetah anyway.
I know,
so,
and I think that would just be great. Maybe Cheetah's defeated Vixen, and she's like, man, you got to watch out for that Cheetah girl.
Okay. All right. Maybe just a quick cameo like that. Well, the other one for me would be Bronze Tiger. Now, I don't ever for a second believe that there will be a Bronze Tiger solo movie, but I would really like to see that character become a part of like the Suicide Squad or something like that if they're going to do Suicide Squad 2, which they are going to do. But, let's mix it up a bit. Don't keep the same characters from the first one. We know the Suicide Squad changes.
It's just, man, this is just really going to be Harley and Joker featuring the Suicide Squad.
I don't think they're going to bring Jared Leto back.
You don't
Suicide
reckon?
Squad 2. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think he'll come back.
Yeah, true.
I mean, based on everything that,
He was not a happy boy.
He was not a happy boy. He did backflip on some of that and say, like, he was happier than he made out to be. But ultimately, he wasn't a happy boy. All right. Moving on?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, DC have such a catalog of crazy... Now, what we're going to do now, because, like, we're getting a little bit on in time.
Okay.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to, like, roll through some of these a little bit quicker. So... just give me one, all right? DC has such a catalog of crazy superheroes with crazy powers. What's your favorite?
Plastic Man.
Plastic Man.
Yeah, he's just a cool dude, man. The fact that he once transformed into Wonder Woman's suit. Like,
oh, yeah, he's
like,
a creep.
He's a creep. But, like, that's some pretty crazy power.
So,
and, like, you have to be pretty crazy to do that to Wonder Woman.
Yeah. That's true, but that is very creepy.
Yes.
If I was going to give you one, you know who I think's really cool that doesn't get anywhere near enough credit? Granny Goodness.
Oh, man, she is a badass.
She is a badass, but she's just like an old lady. She's like an old lady. Obviously, she's not just like an old lady, but that's what she looks like. She just looks like an old lady, pretty much.
Actually look like an old man.
Well, she maybe more like an old man, but man, Granny Goodness, man. If you know how we're getting the new gods,
yes,
yeah. Let's goddamn hope Ava DuVernay brings us some Granny Goodness.
If you want to hear more Granny Goodness talk, go back to like episode 3 or 4 where we did a Dark Side Origins.
Oh, that's right. We did, yeah.
And I gave a little bit of history about Granny Goodness.
Was that the Dark Side Origins one, or was that the one where we did badass female characters?
Oh, check out both. Do yourself a favor.
Do yourself a favor. All right, so here's a question. So who wins in a Martha versus Martha battle?
I think Martha has got that hands down.
Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart comes in and she's like, "Hey, ladies, let's stop fighting. Let's just bake a cake, and we're going to sit down. We're going to eat the cake, and we're going to have some tea or some wine or whatever, and we're going to talk this out."
I only want that to happen if she walks in and says, "Hey, Martha fuckers,
Martha fuckers,
here's a cake,"
and then they all smoke weed.
Yeah,
because I think that's what she went to jail for.
Yes, she did.
Anyway, love wins in the end.
That's right.
In that one,
family.
What villains would you like to see in a Legion of Doom in the next Justice League movie, if that's what happens?
Oh, I'd like to see like this universe's Bane.
Yeah,
I think that would be really, really cool.
Hell yeah.
Solomon Grundy would be great.
Yeah,
I want to see.
Give us a like a big screen Vandal Savage.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I'd take a Vandal Savage.
I want some big mutton chops.
Yeah. But I guess the biggest thing is, like, all those characters are fantastic. I just want to see Deathstroke. Like, I want to see, like, if that's what's going to happen and that's where that's headed, I want to see Joe Manganiello as Deathstroke. Let's put it on the screen. Let's make that goddamn thing happen.
That's the best answer. Just next.
What type of meal would you cook for Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman, respectively?
Okay, Superman, I would cook him something with guacamole because I feel like he's, a man of the earth and everyone loves guacamole.
Okay.
Wonder Woman, I feel like she would like
steak.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Steak. She's an Amazon. She knows what she wants. And Batman, I'd serve him some justice.
Oh, damn. I'm gonna like piggyback off that.
Yeah.
And I would serve him some whiskey and just ice. Just ice.
Yeah,
Justice.
I get it.
Yeah, right. All right. Yours was way better, but I had to had to try to steal your thunder.
That's all right.
As for the rest, why is guacamole Why is that the food of the world?
Have you ever gone anywhere and there isn't guacamole?
Definitely not in a Mexican restaurant.
See?
See.
I
don't even know how to answer that question anymore. Let's move on to another one. We got one more. We'll do one more question.
One more.
Okay, so this is, it's a little bit deeper. We'll spend a couple of minutes on it, but that's it. How can DC fix... Now, fix is in, like bunny ears. So quotations. So it's not like it's necessarily saying it needs to be fixed. But how can they fix their live-action film universe and get the haters off their back? Just give us a quick... Like, what do you think?
Look, I don't think the universe really needs to be fixed. I think it just needs to have less studio... I guess, interruptions.
Yeah.
Or like less studio input on it and let the storytellers tell their story.
Yeah.
I, for one, really love the darker tones and I guess the more real life feel of this DC universe. And we're saying at the start of this segment, that's quite the opposite. Like they're too surreal, but I actually think they're a little bit more grounded and a little bit more understanding of the real world than what the Marvel movies are.
Yeah.
And I actually incredibly enjoy the DC movies just for that fact.
Yeah, okay. I don't disagree with anything you said. Here's a couple of things that you do, right? So you basically piggyback off the success of Wonder Woman, and you have to do that. And you have to basically revolve your cinematic universe around Wonder Woman. It's by far the biggest success, like 100%. What you then need to do is you need to give us Man of Steel 2.
Yes.
Right? With the, and I don't know who I'm talking to, like, you need to give us this. But what they need to do is, like, they need to give us Man of Steel 2 now that, like, Henry Cavill's Superman has come, into his own as Superman.
Full circle.
Yes. Well, it's not even full circle. Like, he's basically just, it's a straight line. It's kind of like he's just grown like a normal sort of person. And he's become the Superman, in Justice League that we all know and love and all that sort of stuff. We didn't really get to see it too much then, but this is what you've got to do now. Like, let's head that way. Let's change the tone. See, you say keep it dark. I say let's lighten it. I say, we work with what they did so well in Wonder Woman, which by no means was like a light-hearted sort of fun-filled romp through World War One, but
I remember my first romp in World War One.
Yeah, but like it was fun, and she was so determined and full of hope and all that sort of stuff. You do the same thing with Man of Steel 2, right? And you keep pushing that through, like your other properties, like your Shazam's coming up, and things like that, and then you culminate it all with Flashpoint, and you reset. And you may as well reset.
Why not? You've got the opportunity to do it right there.
So, if you want to, it's like, you kind of like bring in the light, and then you put the light at risk with the events of Flashpoint, and then you finish it off with the light winning in the end or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm no filmmaker, but that
sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's what I think they should do. End of the day, just give us a goddamn Man of Steel 2.
I just want that movie so bad. That's going to do it for another week, Troy.
It is. I hope you guys felt the DC love. We tried to bring it as much as we could. Once we get past this whole Infinity War thing, it's, we're back to normal, baby.
It's just free game.
Free game. We're going to be doing this stuff, things,
Actually,
junk.
you know what? I want to get some suggestions for episodes after Infinity War.
Okay. Hit us up. Where can they hit us up?
They can hit us up on social media, Troy, and what a great segue. And that's Facebook. Just search Comic Confidential. We also have the listener community, and that's really where you want to be, because that's where we interact with literally everyone.
As much as we possibly can, but it's where we spend a lot of our time.
How much time, Troy? Like in a percentage-wise?
All right, so
69%.
Definitely 69. 69% of the time, it works every time. Now, we also have an Instagram and Twitter that is at ComicConPod, and there's also a website.
That's ComicConPod.com. Past episodes, future episodes, and everything in between.
We also have a Patreon. That is patreon.com/ComicConPod, where you can support the show for as little as $1 a month. We did speak about this a little bit last week. There is some things coming that we're going to be doing for a Patreon exclusive, so look out for that coming your way.
Yeah, we're going to record a super quick bonus episode for the Patreon listeners right after we've hit stop on this bad boy.
Damn straight we are. Yeah, so there's all that sort of stuff, and you get the Patreon chat and blah, blah, blah. You know about it all. If you don't, go to patreon.com/ComicConPod. Now, quick shout out to sometime co-host, mostly guest, but, you know, she's out there somewhere. It is Amy's 40th birthday today.
Yeah, wow. She holds up well.
She looks good for her age.
Look, girl, this one's out to you. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, girl. She's actually, I don't know how old she is.
I'm 27.
27.
Yeah.
Or 26.
Something like
She's
that.
around,
Very young.
She's in the mid-20s. Younger than me, that's for sure. And, you know, she holds that well as well.
She sure does. We're actually catching up with her tomorrow for a champagne breakfast on the beach, because why not?
Here's the thing. I have never done like a birthday breakfast party.
Haven't you?
Never in my life.
Oh my God, Troy, what's the best meal of the day?
Breakfast.
What's the best thing to celebrate?
Birthdays.
What do you get when you put them together?
Birthday.
Breakfast. Yeah. Best day ever.
Why was that math hard?
I don't know. Because you got held up at breakfast.
Yeah,
and you probably
all I was just thinking breakfast.
Yeah, you got the loading sign going on.
Yeah, birthday breakfast, man. I'm keen.
Hell
keen
yeah.
as a bean. So anyway, happy birthday, Amy, you lovely son of a bitch. That is it, though. I'm going to wrap it up. You happy for me to wrap it up?
I think so.
All right, that is it. Thanks for listening. As always, I'm Troy.
And I'm Cade.
And this has been Comic Confidential.
Cheers.
Peace.
Time to record some Patreon-only stuff.
Yeah. If you want to get... Are we singing?
Yeah.
I thought you had a tune going.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. If you want to get on that, you got to get on board.
Gotta get on board to the Patreon chat. If you love this podcast, then head over to comicconpod.com to check out the other incredible shows on our network.
You can also support us on Patreon from as little as $1 a month.
You'll get early access to all our shows, plus secret supporter content that's not available to the public.
Head over to patreon.com/ComicConPod to find out more.